Today at Pisces, I'm going over a pretty sweet step-by-step guide on building a semi-aquatic vivarium with a built-in water feature and reservoir system. Everything used in this video can be purchased here at Pisces. In part 1 of this build, I'm just going to be covering the background. To create a realistic background, I'm going to build dimension with some polyurethane waterfall foam, which will help hold in place the corrugated plastic housing area for our water pump in the corner. While the foam is still curing, I'm going to add some corkwood chunks to the background, and the foam will expand into it and hold it in place. I found a pretty gnarly shape of corkwood for the base of my wall and waterfall that'll be smushing into place and sealing any gaps with the foam. I'm not too worried about how the foam is going to look right now, as I'll be carving and adding it to it later. Always have whatever surface you're working on to be on the bottom so your foam doesn't glob its way towards the ground. I don't want any of that goopy foam getting all up in the vents and doors of the front wall, so I'm placing some cardboard in to save future me from that trauma. If you follow my method exactly, then you'll be sure to use an unnecessary amount of duct tape to keep things in place. Just remember that this foam will expand to a degree, so I don't want to build it up too heavily. I'm not too worried about detailing the bottom couple of inches of the terrarium, as that will be covered up by our substrate and water level. Foam gonna foam, so the next step is cleaning up all the overexpansion by scooping up a hefty dollop of the good gray stuff so my lid can actually fit back on. And while I've got a big knife out, I might as well carve out some of that foam for my little pot plants I shoved in the walls earlier. My overall objective here is to make the details more real rocky and less fake foamy. I definitely had an enormous mound grow like mad on the side, so I had to deal with it. Since gray and porous blobs don't fit the not fake aesthetic I'm looking for, I'm going to cover up that unsightly wall of dull with some silicone and glue some things to it. Before I jump to that, however, I'm going to cover up my corky boys with some painter's tape so I can preserve their woody goodness for later. I just apply an exuberant amount of the silicone before I slap on some gloves and stipple that goop into every inch of my wall foam. Once I'm happy with my new pasty coat, I'm going to smash some different soils and mulch into it. Specifically, I'm using jungle mix substrate from Zilla for this build's dirty surface. After letting the substrate dry over a few hours and tapping out any extra, I repeat the slathering of my glue dirt fiasco for the second wall. Oh man, I get silicone everywhere for this one. I'll deal with that later. For now, I just have to double check that I don't have any more of that foam's nincompoopery still showing. Once I'm satisfied and everything has time to dry, I trash that painter's tape and brush off any excess dirt from the walls and my future hopeful plant pots. With a sharp razor blade and a tolerably steady hand, I remove as much of the silicone happy accents I made earlier on the glass and get a vacuum to eat the dusty leftovers. And now the fixing stage, where I go over everything I miss or just plain out up on. And goop it up with more silicone. For a bit more variance on my walls, I toss some lighter aquarium pebbles on to smack some juxtaposition all up in here. And with a plant-safe adhesive and just a few nuggets of strategically yet arbitrarily placed moss, I finish up the details for this video. But this video has exceeded my allocated amount of time, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you most likely immediately in the next video.